Hi, I'm Deborah Roth of Spirited Living, here to continue with tip number 2 of our 4 essential tips for soul-centered dating. What can we do, not just about what we say and what we wear and how to go to the right places to meet the right guys, but what can we do internally and personally in our self-discovery process to make ourselves fully prepared to attract a fulfilling, successful relationship. I have a little bit of help. I didn't introduce them in the first video, but I will now, from a couple of my favorites. I have my little fairy in the background. She just always reminds me to stay light. And this whole process can be so heavy, I know. And if you're watching this, you're most likely in a break from dating or frustrated in dating. And the idea is to keep your spirits up. The other little piece of help, in addition to my little love fairy up there, is the classic Venus, who is of course, the goddess of love, sitting with her scallop shell. And so she's going to watch over us in this series as well. So the tip number 2 that I want to share with you today that really comes on the heels of tip number 1, which is identifying your self-limiting beliefs, kind of clearing out the space, getting the clutter out of the way that in effect is taking up the space that a fulfilling relationship can be occupying. So once you've done that with tip number 1, we want you then to get very specific about what it is that you want to attract into that open space. That now that you've gotten rid of all those self-limiting beliefs, that's our intention with Venus's help, with our little love fairy's help, then what do you want to attract into that space? And I think that the second essential tip is to create a very clear vision. And you can do that in several ways. I think one of the problems that we have when we get in the throes of this whole relationship quest is that we forget to balance our head with our heart. We're sometimes just led directly by chemistry or by some romantic notion. And I think if we take the time to prepare a very clear vision of what we want, we don't have to be contributing to that 50 to 60% divorce rate. I can tell you, I've been married 30 years, and I have seen probably half of our friends bite the dust, our couple friends, sadly. So in terms of how you create a vision, there's several ways to do that. You can simply journal a really beautiful, very detailed description of what your perfect day and your ideal life looks like with your partner. And every aspect of it, including your partner eventually, but I would really recommend that you focus on your own internal happiness. What are all the factors that will lead to that? And you can do that, as I said, by journaling. Another wonderful way that really brings in your right brain, your creative, intuitive side, is to create a treasure map or a collage. Just get a bunch of magazines and let your intuition guide you and pull images out of there that represent what you want that ideal life to look like, including, of course, your relationship, but not just limited to that. And so create a beautiful pictorial image of what you want your ideal life to look like. Very, very powerful. Another technique, probably for more cognitive types, and I've done a really rough version of it here, is a mind map. And there are a couple different ways you can do it. You can have you in the middle right there, and then go off and say, okay, there's my love. It's hard for me to do this like this. There's love and all the qualities that you want your love relationship to have. Or you can do it just with like little tributaries, family, and all the criteria for family. So play with those and see if you can really create a clear image of the kind of relationship that you want to create in the ideal life. Tip number 2 of our 4 essential tips, and get ready for number 3.